BigFooty Blues. BigFooty Blues. BigFooty Blues. Turn the BigFooty Blues.
And welcome to the real episode 15 of the 2015 BigFooty Blues Podcast. I'm still ODN and you, apparently, are still listening. There is no accounting for taste. Except if you are talking about our delicious panel for tonight. Hello again, ShanDog.
G'day everyone, how you doing?
And getting a mulligan on his second official debut, it's AceAndy.
Thanks, ADN.
Hey, AceAndy, how are you?
Great to be on the podcast again.
Well, if you actually make it. Get published this week, we'll see.
This one's going to end up on the floor again.
We're always on the floor around here. All right, let's just move straight on to a little bit of Blues news.
Blues news.
So, a little bit of an informal Blues news this week. First, I just want to pay mention to Levi Casbolt, who breaks the record for games in the number 41 Guernsey this week when he plays his 47th game, eclipsing Peter Rode. So, well done, Levi. Look, all the news around Carlton, let's face it, aside from what we're doing on the field at the moment, surrounds who our next coach is going to be. Some delicious little tidbits coming out during the week. Ken Sheldon, who, as we know, is on the panel to decide our new coach, was seen talking down at Freo, talking to Ross Lyon. Ross Lyon says emphatically it's a bit distasteful to suggest it was about me. It wasn't. So the question remains: was it about his assistant Simon Lloyd? So yeah, Simon Lloyd, early guns, early doors, as Rats would say. He seems to be somebody we're quite interested in.
Yeah, apparently so. I didn't really. Have you guys really heard much about him before? Because I know I have.
Yeah, he did some. I think he did some work at Box Hill in the past. He's worked at Hawthorn. He's obviously
former
been
sports psychologist. I think that
sports psychologist. Yeah. I mean, you can always get Nick Ep15 back again. If going to go that way, But so he seems to have some of the credentials that we like. The deficiencies, obviously, is that he's got a brother.
Not just any brother.
Yes. So he played one game for the Carlton Reserves way back when, and didn't their father also play one game for us or something like that? Or
prodigal son returns.
Yeah, but have you heard any more talk about any other coaches, or what do we think about the idea?
Yeah, look, I don't know much about this guy, like I said, but I'm at least pleased that it seems like we're doing the right thing by sounding out all the possible people out there, the names that come up as persons of interest. We're getting out there and speaking to them, and in this case, hitting up his boss Ross Lyon about. I'm assuming the meeting was to talk about his suitability and also sort of, I guess, get a foot in the door with the club about interviewing him officially in the future and things like that. So I think it's good to see that we're getting out there and doing this properly. No more Messiah complex, as Tricky has said, and just getting on with the job as it should be done. Yeah,
well, Ross Lyon says we were there just to sort of find out about coaching structures and things. So just because Ken Sheldon and Ross Lyon are good friends. I think Ken Sheldon had something to do. He was on the panel, even as a former sacked St Kilda coach. He was on the panel to appoint Ross Lyon to the St Kilda job years ago, and so they were pretty good friends. That he was potentially picking his brain about, I guess, how a good coaching structure should work, but you can't help it. You don't think he'd be flying all the way down to Fremantle just for that. You'd have to think that we'd be talking to somebody else while we're over there. So,
he wasn't just asking for advice on how to word the careers.com.au ad.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
So have they actually sought any expressions of interest yet, or is it sort of people are going to get tapped on the shoulder to apply, or?
Yeah, good question. I don't know.
What's the go there?
I don't know if people are actually behind the scenes declaring their interest, or we're approaching the eligible, because there's only a certain amount of eligible candidates anyway. So if we're approaching them saying, "You interested?" I would imagine some have, through their managers, have actually expressed some interest. I don't think that we should be. We don't completely want to be chasing people. We'd like some of them to actually show an interest, that they're actually interested in the job and prepared to interview for the job and, show how good they are. But unless, especially for the assistant coaches who've never been a senior coach before, they shouldn't be chased. They should actually be the ones keenly, putting their hand up and waving their hands around saying, "Pick me," in my view. I'm I've got a couple of concerns. I think I posted on the boards today. One, if we're looking at coaches or assistant coaches that have been working under, I guess, ultra defensive minds. So, Ross Lyon assistants or anybody who's working, or if it's a Sydney Swans assistant or anything like that. I think we showed that Mick Malthouse's ideas he became ultra defensive in the end, and it was to our detriment. He became so ultra defensive that an offence failed completely. And I'm hoping. I really don't want to see us become a strangling side who kicks, 9, 10, 11 goals per game and beats our opponent by 2 goals, and, they're always in the match. I know Fremantle are doing well with it, but
even they've become more attacking.
They have, and they've needed to get into flag favouritism, because they needed to fine-tune what they had. So they've got their defensive capabilities, but they've had to become more attacking to take it to the next level. So, I'm hoping we don't go completely that route, because the last couple of weeks have been really exhilarating considering where we've been. And also the fact that John Barker has actually done something fantastic for our psyche at the moment. I'm hoping the fact that if he doesn't get the job, just the mere fact that he's expressed interest in the job doesn't mean that he's out of a job completely at the end of the year. Yeah. If you know what I mean. A new coach coming in probably doesn't want somebody there who might be angling for his job. But I'd like to think, with Carlton's newfound philosophy of coach being part of the staff and not just somebody who brings his own team and his own philosophies, Stephen Trigg and the club has said we basically want somebody who's going to come in and follow the way we want them to build the side. So they are still, it's not completely going to be left in the hands of the senior coach. It's going to have input from everybody. So the senior coach isn't living and dying by his own decisions. I don't know if that's going to appeal to a lot of coaches. That's probably going to narrow the field a lot. But it could mean somebody like John Barker, if he doesn't get the job, is able to sink back into an assistant coaching role somewhere, because he obviously gets along with the players. They obviously like him. And he's obviously, looks like he's been a pretty good foot soldier now that we've seen him in this role, and we've seen more of him, heard more of him, So I'm hoping that he doesn't get left hung out to dry at the end of it. Do you guys have a preference for who coaches us next? Or as long as may the best man win?
As long as the best man is somebody that doesn't coach anything like Mick Malthouse, I'm quite happy. I recall when he was going through his, celebration game, he was being interviewed on television, and he mentioned that he'd been speaking to John Kennedy Sr., who had said to him, his philosophy was, well, if we can restrict them to 7 goals, we've only got to kick 8 to win. And Malthouse said that stayed with him for all his coaching career. Yep. And to my way of thinking, that's exactly the reason why we should never have appointed him. So I agree, ODM, that hopefully we can find somebody not of that very defensive mindset that will enable the players to, I guess, play a little more freely. And certainly I've been surprised with John Barker, mainly because he didn't get a lot of good press from previous jobs. I think he was at Hawthorn and perhaps St Kilda.
Sounds about right, I think.
As an assistant.
Yeah.
And, when he came to Carlton, I remember seeing a lot of, they were sort of seemed to be quite glad to get rid of him, and, suggested he was a bit of a dud. But he seems to have, I guess, outdone everyone there in terms of what he's been able to do in, 3 or 4 weeks. So, yeah.
Look, we've gone from, we were averaging 74 points 74 points 4 again, under Malthouse. And post his sacking, that's gone up to 91. 91 points in the time, and it was 112 against, and it's come down to 99. So that's a good thing on both ends of the field. Okay, let's move on to weekend week.
This is the weekend week.
So last Sunday afternoon at Etihad, Carlton 14-19, 103, defeated Gold Coast 9-15, 69. Goals to Carlton, 3 to Casbolt and Everett, 2 to Henderson and Armfield, singles to Menzel, Touhy, Yaron and Buckley. Bets for Carlton, Bell, Simpson, Murphy, Carazzo, Touhy and Yaron. Injuries, Carlton. Menzel, right knee injury, and Doherty has a minor hamstring. And Nick Holman replaced Troy Menzel in the third quarter. So, how did we see the game, guys?
It was really good from the perspective of the young guys, I think. So Tom Bell having a fantastic match. We had Nick Graham backed up his good performance from the last week. Patrick Cripps with that tagging, having to deal with the tag and still coming through, having a really good impact on the game. It was all really great, plus seeing Holman come in as well. So I just think it was fantastic that we got our nose in front really early and then managed to hold them off really for the rest of the match and showed a bit of steel and resolve when they kept coming back to us. So yeah, great gamer.
Yeah. Speaking of that hard tag that Patrick Cripps picked up, it's a pretty good tribute to a young guy in his second season.
Yeah.
And what's he played now? 13, 14, whatever he's played games. And to get a hard tag like that, and Andrew Rains was reported for striking him, giving him a bit of a tummy tap.
Clearly got the best of him then if he was losing his cool.
Yeah, well, limited talent, usually brings on those sort of things, doesn't it? So, But, still 20 disposals while copping a hard tag as a young guy. He's not, his input can be stifled a little bit, but I don't think you can tag a player like Cripps out of the game.
No.
He's got too big a body to not be able to get his hands on the ball, and he knows, and he reads the play too well to actually, we used to see Juddy cop a hard tag from now and then, and he'd be limited to 13 possessions or something like that, on a few occasions, and some taggers did get the best of him, but it just with Cripps' size, it just seems it might be a little bit harder.
He stays involved as well. Still had equal highest number of tackles for Carlton. He got involved with as third man up for hit outs, all that sort of stuff. Still got the clearances. How can you stop him?
Yeah, exactly. 7 clearances. Yeah, 6 tackles. That's right. And he got a few free kicks given to him too. So obviously people are. Already the umpires are looking out for him,
and should have kicked 3 goals too.
Yeah, 3 behinds, and they get him. Well, that is one deficiency in his game. Is he's better by hand than he is by foot, and in front of goal, he has some work to do, as do a lot of our players. Mind you, 14, 19. That's not very accurate at all. What did we think of Nick Holman when he came in?
I thought he was really good, surprising. I haven't seen him before, and I think it was good to actually come into the game. I think he came on at about 3/4 time, did he?
Yeah,
yeah. At least he came on during the game where we were actually in control. I think it's a bit, I guess, not great for the confidence if you come into the game and it's sort of you're 10 or 12 goals down and you're getting a bit of a hiding. So I think it was a good introduction for him. Yeah, I thought he did very well. Couldn't get over how young he looked. I don't know how he looked like he was about 12, I think.
He was bigger than I thought he was. I remember him being in the game he played last year. A little bit bigger, and he's growing the hair out. Looks a little bit like Fraser Brown with that going. So another dog in the side is always good. 8 disposals, 23% game time.
How about that left foot though? Nailed it.
Yeah, I know, and that's something else I didn't think. He looked like a real running ball carrier, didn't he? And I always thought he was more of an inside worker. That completely surprised me.
Yeah, so hopefully he can, going forward, really have both sides to his game, I guess, because that'd be fantastic to have another person who's a bit more versatile, because he's a pure mid, really. But yeah, having a versatile one like that who can smash blokes inside and actually get outside and use the ball well as well is pretty impressive. I was really hoping that after the commentators talked up how young he looked, that he just came out and absolutely wrecked someone within the first 30 seconds or something, but it didn't quite happen, unfortunately. I thought that would have been beautiful.
Nick Graham, he goes from strength to strength. His best game for Carlton, 24 disposals, 9 contested possessions, 83% efficiency. 7 inside 50s. He was really working hard, and he's looking good.
I just can't understand what Mick Malthouse is thinking about not playing the guy. It's just, he looks like he's a natural to me for the for the first 22. And everything he's done, everything I've seen if you're doing, I thought, you can't keep the guy out of the side. But obviously Mick had a different view and played him very sparingly.
I'd love to know what his reasoning was behind it.
Yeah, I did hear something to suggest he had some deficiencies he was told he had to work on. I'm not sure what they were, but
seems to have come good anyway.
Look, some massive numbers on the side. Chris Yarran, 25 disposals. Mark Murphy, again, one of our best, 32. Cruiser, 19 disposals for a big man. Actually, Cruiser and Wood both got 19.
Yeah, Cruiser and Wood, that was great.
Zach Touhy.
Oh, epic.
Playing in his role, 27 disposals, 81% efficiency, 7 marks. He kicked one of his trademark running goals. This time it was the old 1-2 running into the forward 50 and put it through the middle and sort of lifted the team again.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
He's back to his best form and he's having a good year.
He is. I've got one minor knock on him.
What's that?
Too many tattoos?
No, I think if he could average a couple more tackles a game, he would be the complete half-back flanker. I think he's just been missing that little bit. He's been putting a lot of defensive pressure on, which is good, but to actually nail a few tackles, win a couple of holding the ball frees maybe every game, then that'd just be like fantastic. He'd be leading BNF type stuff, But his ball use was excellent, and that's what we really want from him. So that's great to see.
Yeah, I think it was his best game in 18 months. Really, it's, good to see.
Just on that, our rebounding halfback flankers in general don't rack up a lot of tackles. Yarran
really.
Yarran had 1, so Touhy had 2, Docky had 1, Buckley had none.
None, yeah.
I mean that's. I don't know who's doing the tackling back there, but you've obviously got probably your midfielders are coming back, so that's where your Nick Grahams and your Tommy Bells are coming back and helping out, while the other guys actually provide the run off those contests. So I guess because it's very strange. There's not a lot of tackling going on in that back line.
Yeah, it's all the mids that are doing it, really. I mean, even Simon White had 1 tackle. He's the third tall defender sort of thing, second tall at the moment. But yeah, that's something interesting, I think, if they can really improve that. And that's maybe why we're down on tackles compared to a lot of other teams. Statistically, we're just not getting them in the back line as well or as much as them. Because our midfielders tackle all the time.
Yeah. How many tackles did Rowe have?
3.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was probably of the defenders he had the most, I'd say.
Well, look, the big thing for me, we know Gold Coast are more of a running side than a contested side. Well, maybe not true. They used to be a pretty good clearance side a year or two back, but we know with all the injuries they've had, they've been more trying to use their leg speed to get outside people. And that was one concern going in because we didn't select a lot of runners and we selected some more inside players. We absolutely smashed them in disposal count, 130 more disposals, but it was 100 more uncontested possessions.
Yeah, huge, isn't it?
At the Gold Coast. And when was the last time Carlton did something like that? I mean, that's where we get smashed consistently by teams. So, statistically, we really dominated that match. So it is a beautiful thing.
It might be oversimplifying it, but it just seems to me like we're not winning the clearance by Carrazzo or Robinson or someone like that just throwing the ball on the boot and turning it over 35 metres away. We're actually working it out of the stoppage, and that's where we're getting a lot of these possessions. They start, those chains of uncontested possession.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, because when you get your likes of Patrick Cripps in there, absolutely beasting it in the middle, actually getting a ball out to somebody in an advantageous position.
Yeah.
Which is what he does. He doesn't give it. He very rarely gives it to players that are under the pump. He gives it to somebody. They've got a split second to make a decision, and then instead of the likes of Murphy or Gibbs if he was in the side, but instead of the likes of those guys actually trying to go in and get in as the experienced midfielders trying to get that first hands on the ball, they're getting second hands on the ball, and they're users. So we're not relying on, as you said, the ball gets out to Carrazzo, who's just going to pump it up in the air, or Robinson's going to pump it up in the air, because all those guys who get the second hands on the ball are usually the ones that clear it. So we seem to have that midfield structure right, or even Nick Graham, he seems to be a beautiful summer upper of the play, and where the ball's going and getting it to dangerous spots. So I'm really buoyed by that, because a lot of things that used to have us hands on our head, sort of just exasperation, have changed around the club. So, what a difference a few weeks makes.
The one thing that I was a little perplexed by and found hard to understand was the one finger ET tap goal celebration. What is that about?
It's been going on for weeks. And look, honestly, Dre, it's toxic, mate. You spread it to the other guys. It is complete wankery at its finest. I mean,
it doesn't look good.
It's terrible. Let's let me not say anything that's politically incorrect here. But hand in your man cards, for God's sake.
Yes, it's a bit. Yes.
Well, I mean, it's already. I noticed some of the football shows on Foxtel have actually mentioned it a couple of times as well, and they're not fans. Nobody's a fan of it. Stop it.
It's
what is this?
Isn't it?
Stop! You're not bloody Hopewadi. Stop it. Get your fingers out of there. All right, let's move away from that game. Good win, 2 in a row. Hasn't happened before this year, and we don't get to celebrate. We don't get to have a stress-free couple of weeks ever. So it's been good.
Pre-game pep talk.
So Saturday night, 7:20 p.m. at Etihad, Carlton take on the 8th placed Western Bulldogs. Ins for Carlton, Jamison and the Bananas and Pajamas, Blaine 1 and Blaine 2, Bothorst and Johnson. Out, Carrazzo with a toe. Well, he's got 10 of them.
Oh, come on.
And sorry. Menzel with a knee, and Doherty's going to have some injuries. He's been a miss this week.
Pull yourself together, man.
Oh, stop, don't leave me.
It is very disappointing, though, isn't it?
It is disappointing. He's a rock. Rock the rock. And it gives other players an opportunity. As I said, Blaine Johnson's been elevated from the rookie list, and Blaine Bothorst finally gets another go. So that's good. I note that 2 former Bulldogs, Liam Jones and Jason Touhy, are in our emergencies. Are we playing mind games there? I mean, we're trying to mess with the Bulldogs, surely.
It must be. Surely that's just a troll.
I mean, Liam Jones, yes, he did kick 6 in the VFL against Witches Hats last week. I don't know. It's an interesting one. Tom Boyd's out for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I didn't know that was coming.
He's out.
He's out. Okay. Yeah. But I was sort of looking at the talls. We obviously bringing Jamison in the side, and the fact they have lost Boyd. I'm sort of trying to compare. Bulldogs are very big on having mobile tools anyway.
Yeah, they are. And there's also, I noticed before we started recording, there was tweets sent out that say that Sam Rowe is in doubt for the match still as well, which would make it very interesting. Because that would leave Jamison and White as our defenders with, I guess, we could bring Henderson as a swingman down there if we needed to. But I don't think we can cover all of the Bulldogs' tall forwards because they've got a few of them with just 2 genuine key tall defenders. We'd need 3.
But they really don't have much, ShanDog. They really don't.
Well, if you've got Redpath.
You've obviously, Redpath, a one-game player, 194 centimetre, one-game power forward. Jordan Roughhead, who will probably be relieving in the ruck, I guess, because there's no backup to Minson there. Well, that's it. I mean, you've got Hamling and Roberts who are 4 games and 15 games in defence, so they can switch. But not a lot of experience, not overly tall. Jake Stringer is obviously going to be one of their main forwards.
And Jared Grant as well.
Jared Grant is,
He's a 190 plus as well.
But he doesn't play that tall.
I guess,
He's more of a running forward. He's not really, he's a bit of a pinch hitter maybe. I mean, so if you look at your genuine talls, Redpath, Roughhead, Hamling, Roberts, and Minson in the ruck, and then you've got your part-time talls, who can play tall or short, I guess. Stringer, Easton Wood, who's only about 186 centimetres, but he plays very tall. Dale Morris, same, and Grant. Compared to Carlton, we've got our genuine talls: Cruiser, Wood, Jamison, Rowe, Henderson, and Casbolt. So we've got one extra genuine tall there, and we've got the part-time talls, White and Everett. So I sort of thought we may be a little bit top-heavy, but we don't have the amount of mobile players who play tall, the same amount that they do. So it's quite interesting. But obviously Jake String is the next best thing. What do they call it? The package? He's got a package apparently. I can see Simon White matching up on him, but who do we see as the other matchups?
Yeah, see, that's a tough one because I thought there's been calls for Jamison to play on Stringer as well, which I think you might have said that, Odian. I'm not sure.
No, I thought White. I think Harker might be a Jamo.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Stringer.
So, yeah, it's a difficult one because White and Touhy are both just a little bit shorter than those guys that we're talking about. But, as you said, perhaps they're more mature bodies than some of those other blokes, and that'll make up for it, I guess. We'll probably just see them all rotate around on each other a fair bit, I guess. Whoever's not working switches around. We'll have, if they've got Redpath as basically Redpath and Minson doing the Cruiser Wood thing, then they'll probably just follow each other around.
Yeah. I mean, we've got them for as far as experience tools, but we know they're a fleet-of-foot side, and we know they're going to get a third man up. The likes of Easton Wood's going to be going up all the time, being floating across the front of packs and whatnot. And when that ball hits the ground, they're going to whisk it away quick, smart. So we're really going to have to hold our marks. I think Casbolt and Henderson do have the advantage over their opponents, over Hamlin over. God, I don't know who's going to be up there. Roberts and Hamling, yeah. Definitely got the advantage, so they're going to rely heavily on Wood and Morris and giving him a chop out.
I'm actually looking forward to this game. I think it could be a really high-quality game. Certainly the way the Bulldogs they've been a bit up and down, but when they're on, they're a very good side to watch. And I have a feeling it could end up a bit of a shootout, really.
Yeah.
I don't think would be bad to watch, to be honest.
No.
I think we're more than a fair chance on Saturday night. I think Bulldogs would still be favourite. And, I'd like to see perhaps Levi doing very well this week. I sort of felt that he was sort of nearly coming back the last couple of weeks, which has been really good. And, if we can get the ball up to him, I think he could be in for a big night, which would be great.
Yeah, I agree. He's definitely been solid the last few weeks. I think he's just 4 or 5 lace-out passes away from kicking a bag of goals,
Yeah.
Statistically, there's not too much between the sides, aside from our for and against and ladder position, obviously. Disposals were dead even. Clearances +2 to us. Inside 50s +6 to them. They're +5 contested possessions, but We know we're sort of right up the top, up there as well. They're a fair bit ahead in tackles, but that's something we've now addressed, and we're on our way up in. And head-outs are fairly even, free kicks fairly even, so not an awful lot there. It's going to be a massive battle of the midfields, and I think the key man this week is going to be Andreas Everett. Not so much for the goals he provides for us, but because I expect that he's the ideal matchup for Easton Wood, and Everett sometimes can drop off in his intensity, and I think he's going to have to be creating a lot of contests, and he's going to have to watch it and use his pace when the ball hits the ground, because Bulldogs get an awful lot of drive from Wood. So I think it's almost, even though he's an attacking weapon, he's going to have to do his fair share of negating this week from half forward or.
Yeah, I think he's been playing well in patches. I guess the knock on him is that sometimes he does tend to go missing a bit in games. He seems to be one of those players that seems to flash in and out of the game more than will play a consistent game, and sometimes that'll mean that his opponent on the day will get a fair bit of latitude, and that'll look really bad for him. But that just seems to be the way he plays, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think it's to do with the way that the team plays. Actually, he's such an outside player that if we're not winning the ball and using it properly, then he just fades out.
He's not a guy that's going to sort of
win his own ball,
go in and under after his own ball. He's going to be more that he's that third guy in the chain sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
It'd be interesting if Rowe is out, whether we do bring Jones into the side or whether we go with another runner.
Jones to centre half back.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, but then again, Cameron Wood's also named on the bench.
Oh yeah, maybe sub. Maybe he gets the sub, is he?
Yeah, potentially. There's potentially there you bring in another tall, and Cameron Wood gets a rest, since Bulldogs don't have a second ruck as such. They have the part timer, probably Jordan Roughhead and shuffling this side around. It'll be interesting to see whether we just feel we might be a tad slow with those players in. But,
really, it's a tough one this week to pick a side, I think.
Are you going to pick a side?
Oh, a winner? We're talking a winner?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's easy. 10 goals Carlton, but, I'm going to say Happy Dude's not here. I've got to do his thing. No, I think we're actually, I don't know, to be honest. I don't know who's going to come away the winner here. I think it's, I'll be posting a little bit on the Bulldogs pre-game thread, and my thoughts on there was basically whoever wins the midfield battle and gets the most clear possession into their forward 50 is probably going to win this game, because I think both forward lines are kind of dangerous. Ours for the big marking and theirs for the skills on the ground and the speed of some of their outside runners in and around the 50. So whoever gets their way around the middle of the ground and can put the ball into the forward 50 how they want is probably going to get the chocolates.
AceAndy?
Yeah, I tend to agree with ShanDog there. I think it'll be perhaps a battle of the forwards, really, and whoever can get the best delivery. Certainly the Bulldogs earlier in the year were playing a very good brand of football, a lot of sort of coast-to-coast, very quick movement, and they were just blowing teams off the park. So they can be a little inconsistent. I think they beat Sydney up in Sydney. I think it was up in Sydney by, a goal or so, and they had another couple of good wins. But, when they're not quite on song, they tend to be a little vulnerable, and I think we're some chance of getting 3 in a row. I'd like to think we could. But I think in the end it'll probably be quite a close game, and it might be a very high-scoring game. So I'm certainly looking forward to it. I'll be interested to see also how many people are there. I think it's at Etihad, isn't it?
Yes. Well, we improved
Saturday
our crowd
night?
to, 30,000 against the Gold Coast Farms.
Yeah,
That was a pretty good effort.
31 or 32 with Gold Coast. So I would have to imagine Bulldogs, I would have to imagine you might get 40 there.
Yeah, that'd be good. 40, I reckon, would be a good number.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Dare we dream 3 in a row?
How long has it been? Does anyone know?
It'd have to be 2011 or something, I would imagine.
Let's not delve back into that, just in case it's longer than we really thought. and it makes us
No,
sad.
it's not that long. I did have a look back at it, and I think it might have been 2013. We made sort of quasi-made the finals that year, so we do get a run on at times. But it'd be nice. I'm a bit concerned about some of the players we don't have available, but I don't know why I'm so concerned, because really it's the young guys that are leading the way for us. So they're the ones that are making it all happen. So when we start talking about best 22 players unavailable, we've probably got to look at whether those players really are best 22 anymore.
Fair call.
So so Carlton to win. Don't care what the margin is. You've got to have faith in their attitude. I do think they dropped off a little bit of intensity early, and the difference between, and I think I read this, the difference between the first quarter against Gold Coast, we completely dropped off intensity, and ordinarily through the rest of the year, once you start playing like that, we play like that pretty much the whole match. We find it very hard to get our intensity back that quickly, or unless the game's already over and we're way behind. But Barker was able to adjust things mid-match and actually get them up again, get them up and going. So that's another feather in his cap. So I'm confident. The players are very confident. I kind of hope Sam Rowe doesn't miss, because I think he's a real leader out there, and he's one that's sort of cheerleading the rest of the team on at times. It's pretty infectious because he's got a real will to win. So hopefully we line up as announced, and we will win.
I like it. You're the only one out of us three who's actually definitively said that. That's impressive. Normally you sit on the fence a bit more, I think, don't you?
It's not like I've got a guillotine over my head if I'm wrong, is it? So words are cheap. So I've got 55,000 posts on BigFooty to prove that. All right, I'll leave it there. Been a good night, folks. Thank you, AceAndy, for coming in, and I really hope that you make it the air this time, mate.
Thanks, ADN. And look, a big shout out to all the Canberra posters, of which I only know Blue Street, but...
All right, big shout out to Blue Street. Good. Yep. And thank you, ShanDog.
No worries, thank you, guys.
Thank you to everybody out there. We'll see you next week. Go Blue Baggers.